and welcome to the exciting world of your external application to study abroad. So, first up, what is an external application to study abroad? So, you've already done the first part of the study abroad process if you're watching this video. So, the first part is your two-lane application. That is for your university approval to study abroad through us. That verifies that you have met all of the internal requirements to study abroad at Tulane. What that usually means is a GPA, having a conversation with your major advisor and your academic advisor. You've probably are all already done this already, which is great. That's the first part. But you still need to do the secondary application. That's your external application to study abroad. So this is for your actual admission to the program or university of your choice. That's based on additional external requirements that those universities or program providers have for you. Okay, so very important, just to reiterate, if you take nothing else away, there are two applications to study abroad. One is your two-lane application for approval, and then the second is the external application on the program provider website itself. So if you've done both of those, then you're all set. So where and when to apply? So you want to apply for the program or university of your choice on that university or program's specific website. Be aware of your program's deadline because it may be different than our Tulane initial deadline. Usually there tend to be October, November for spring, or February or early March for fall. So do remember to be checking up on this because sometimes they can definitely sneak up on students. And applying to your program is your responsibility. So we're not going to keep sending out reminders. Be sure that you're aware of whatever those initial external deadlines are so that you're meeting them. And then the requirements may also be different than your two-lane application requirements. A lot of times the GPA is slightly higher. You want to make sure that you're checking on that. They may require a portfolio from you or certain other things that are not required on our application. So definitely be sure to check up on those prior to you actually sitting down and working through your application. There are a few programs that do not have an external application required. These are Reunidas in Madrid, Educo in Paris, although Sciences Po does have an external app, and then BCSP in Bologna. DIS Copenhagen and Stockholm have interviews instead of a second application. So that interview basically serves as your secondary application. You don't need to do an additional application, but the interview basically serves as that. So can you get denied from a program? Well, it is possible, but in most cases, it's pretty unlikely. I would say 95% of students get into their first choice of program or university as long as you're meeting the stated requirements. So make sure you have an additional program's external deadline just in case. And this kind of brings to a conversation of when you actually want to pivot. Well, if you get denied for a program, then obviously that's a good time to pivot, although that external deadline may have already passed. If you are applying for a direct enroll program or a competitive exchange spot, you may want to make sure that you're doing your secondary application for your backup choice in addition to your primary choice. Most of the time that's unnecessary, but you can feel free to reach out if you think that your program may be extra competitive. And then another reason is maybe you're less prepared in your French language skills than you thought. You thought you could do a direct enroll program at the Sorbonne, but then you're kind of taking a look at everything and getting a little overwhelmed. It's fine to pivot to your backup option now, but you want to make sure that you're reaching out to us and filling out the program change request form so that we can give you a nomination for a different program instead of the one you initially applied for. Which brings me to nominations. So homeschool nominations when? OSA completes nominations automatically on behalf of all approved students following our application review period, which we're currently in right now. So make sure that you input your advisor's name or send us any needed forms if you do need to do that. And be aware that there are a lot of you and there's only a few of us. So we will do our best to get you the nominations in as timely a manner as we can, but there are quite a few of you. So please don't send us reminder after reminder. Nominations are not really something that we can do day of because every program or university is going to require something different from us. So keep in mind, there's a lot of you. We're working through them as fast as we can. Which also brings me to, when will I hear back from my university? So if you are doing a direct enroll program, it usually is going to take you longer to hear back from them than it is for program providers. That's usually just because universities tend to have fewer staff than the large program providers. And when it comes to these direct enroll and exchange programs, patience really is a virtue. If you haven't heard back from your program yet, it's not a bad sign. But if you are extra worried about it, you can do that backup option for the secondary application of your choice. Just some additional FAQs. If you are ever asked what kind of a student that you are on these additional applications, unless you applied for a program marked as exchange, which is very few of our programs, you are a fee-paying direct enroll student. So if you ever need to put that on any of your applications, that's what you'll be while you're abroad. As far as transcripts go, we'll talk more about this in the section on academic policies. But if you do need a transcript address for where your transcripts are sent to by the program provider or university, this is that. So feel free to take that down now. And then if you have any questions on that external application, it's probably better to contact your program provider directly as opposed to our office. There are so many programs that we have for our office, and it's impossible for us to know the application policies for every single one. So contacting them directly is probably the best bet. But if you're having trouble finding a program contact actually reach out to, completely understand that. In that case, reach out to your OSA advisor because they may be able to connect you with someone over at that program provider or university. And that's pretty much everything you need to know for your external applications.